Here we go. It's story time. A long time ago, when young high school Josh was in 10th grade, he liked a girl. She was in 9th grade. She was not yet old enough to date per her parents, so they just talked. But everybody knew that she was off limits because they weren't dating. As time went on, and as most of you know, people get older. She turned 16, and then they started dating. No quotation marks. Yay! For a very, 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 very long time. 7 years later, when Josh was 20 years old, they got engaged. And then they broke up. Josh moved to Reno, met the woman of his dreams. After 10 months of dating and being engaged, they got married. They have now been married for almost 13 years. They have 4 children, 1 house, 1 dog, 1 fish, and 1 hole in the wall from where Josh fell down the stairs while holding one of those children. I don't know why you needed to know that, but there it is. The end. Thank you. Thank you. This series is called REAL-ationships. We're going to be talking about dating, love, and life with people. And I want to bring attention to something in this story. I dated this person for 7 years. 7. Sorry. I didn't date this person and dated this person for 7 years. And then we broke up. Do you know why? Because there was very little chance of it happening in the first place. You know, they say that 99.9% of people who start dating in high school or younger, their relationship will usually end by the age of 24. Now, that leaves 0.1% for all of you, but unfortunately, Pastors Tom and Linda, Pastors Heath and Tamara, and Braden and Emily all married their high school sweethearts, therefore leaving no room left for you. So, so all the percentages have been taken, and and there you have it. No, but we're gonna jump into this because you have to go into this knowing. You have to go into this knowing what dating is, why we're doing it, what's happening. And so I'm going to take a little page out of Emily's book when she preached the other week. Wasn't she so good? I was like, man, it was good. I'm going to take a page out of that with the who, what, where, why, how questions. And we're going to look at that. But wait, I need 4 volunteers. All right. Let's see here. Emma. Come on. Let's see. Daniela. Okay, I'm going to go with you guys. Right there. Yes, sir. Yeah, come on, Brody. Come on. I'm going to get a high school guy. Any high school guys with their hands up? Hi. Come on, Gavin. Let's go, Gavin. Let's go. Yeah, okay. So here's what I need. We're going to play it this way. I want the girls over here. I want the guys over here. Guys over there, you can sit right there on the stage, have your buzzer. And here's how this is going to go. I'm going to have a question. It's going to have a multiple choices, all right? You have to wait until I finish reading all of the answers before you buzz. What? Oh, is it not on? That would be very helpful. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. All right. Okay. Do you want to try yours? Okay. Yellow. There we go. Okay, stop. Here we go. I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to give multiple choices, and then you have to select it. Will you hit the white button, please? Will you hit the white button there? Yep, there you go. There it is. Oh, try one more time. One more time. One more time. Why did it literally work 5 times in a row and just not work right now? Okay, here it is. There it is. Now, we're going to jump into this. Now, I don't have a lot of scriptures to talk about with dating because the Bible doesn't talk about dating. Do you know why? Because, okay, stop pushing the button. Because dating is a fairly new concept, all right? Before dating, everybody knows your parents said, you go marry them, so you married them. That's pretty much was the way they went. They paid some cows, some sheep, and some goats, and you got married. And so now, in America, we have something called dating, and dating has turned into this crazy thing where everybody wants to be with somebody, and if they're not with somebody, then they feel like they're not important, and nobody loves them, and they have to be dating somebody. And some of you are like, actually, dating is just disgusting, and I don't even know why anybody would want to do it. You'll get there, okay? And so it's just turned into this crazy thing. So our goal is not to tell you, number one, I'm going to tell you this. Our goal is not to tell you that dating is bad, okay? That is not why we are here. Our goal is to help you successfully navigate your relationships, dating or otherwise, so that when you break up with somebody, and you will, most likely, you are going to still be healthy. You're still going to be okay. And when you find the person you're supposed to marry, you will be whole, you will be happy, you'll be healthy, and you'll have a great marriage. Okay? Our goal isn't to tell you that God hates dating and you should only court, okay? Some of you may have heard that. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so that's not our goal. Our goal is to help you navigate this so you have the best dating relationships, friendships, all that is possible. Do you understand? All right, here we go. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. This is just going to be me talking with you guys. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. Here it says, ready? Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. You're like, what does this have to do with dating? I'm going to give you a lot of wisdom tonight. I'm going to give you a lot of wisdom tonight, but it will be your choice whether you act like a fool and take the wisdom and use the wisdom or say, that was nice, Pastor Josh, but I think I'll figure it out my own way. All right? Does that make sense? Here we go. First question. Remember, you got to wait until I finish. This is ABC. Wait till I finish reading C. First question. What is dating? Is it the way to create super cute Instagram posts? A way of getting a free movie? A way to get to know someone you're attracted to see if there's someone you'd want to do life with, raise kids with, and will help you become all God has called you to be. Yellow. That is correct. It is C. It is C. that was an extremely long pause. Y'all were like, is he done? Let me explain this to you guys. Dating is not the end goal, okay? You're not sitting here just like, oh, if I could just date somebody, that's not the end goal of life, of love. Dating is not the end. Dating is just a way to figure out, is this the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? It also is this somebody that is like this that I would like to spend the rest of my life with? You may date somebody that is really great, loves God, passionate, but you just have 2 different directions in life that you're going. And because they want to go to, Chicago and become a doctor, and you want to stay here and be a teacher, that's all right. But your lives aren't going in the same direction, and they're great and you're great, and it's okay. But you know what? You figure it out through the process of dating and being in relationships and hanging out and talking. I like stuff about that person. That's what I'm looking for in a spouse. That's what I'm looking for in somebody I'm going to marry. That's what I'm looking for. Dating is figuring out what you like and you don't like, and it's okay if you break up. You didn't fail. You didn't. It's not the end of the world. It is just part of the process most of the time. Guess what? Most of the people you date, you won't marry. Does that make sense? Most of the people you date, you don't marry, hopefully. And so, Here's a tip. You ready? Write this down. Here's a tip. These are all going to have little tips at the end. How you start dating is how it will most likely end. Okay, not Gary, not saying for sure. How you start dating is how it will most likely end. For instance, if you start dating somebody desperate and you're like, oh my goodness, I love this person. They're the best thing I ever had. To be like, you like just got together, right? Oh, I'm in love with them. Oh my goodness, it's great. And like you can't not look in the eye. You can't not touch each other. You can't not, and it's just, oh my goodness, emotions everywhere. Do you know what's going to happen when you break up? Emotions everywhere. It's going to be nasty and ugly and tears and snot and ice cream, and it's going to be rough, okay? Guys are a little bit different. Ice cream and video games, okay? So it's a little different. The way you start, so my point being, as you go into a dating relationship, take your time. Like, get to know each other and let the process of talking to this person, get to know this person over time unfold. Because the reality is you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. You got this. Okay, number 2. Next question. You ready? This is an ABCD. ABCD. No, you'll know. Why should we date? Is it A, because it's natural? B, because it's fun? C, because we're ready to start seeing who we want to marry? Or D, all of the above? Green. C, because we're ready to start seeing who we want to marry? Partially correct. Anybody want to take a... Oh, yellow. D, all of the above. Let me tell you, why we date, it really is a natural thing. You want to get to know, but it is natural to be attracted to the opposite gender. It is a natural to think people are hot. It is natural to be interested in being in a relationship. It's natural to just be like, man, I would like to be with somebody. God made us to want to get married. He made us to want to have a relationship. So yes, it's natural. Number 2, it is fun. If there's not drama all in it, it's fun. My wife and I, we had fun when we dated. There wasn't a ton of drama. We enjoyed being around each other and hanging out, and we had to stay outside of our car on very cold nights because we didn't want to go home, but we couldn't just sit in the car because it's dangerous, and so we would be out in the freezing cold just talking to each other like this. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was having a seizure, and we just wanted to be around each other and to hang out. Not to mention, I hate talking on the phone, so once we were apart, talking on the phone wasn't really that much of an option, and so we loved being around each other. It's fun. Having crushes is natural, all right? It just is. You're like, oh, snap, they're cute. Okay. 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 You know what I'm saying? Like, it's natural. Don't freak out. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, I like this person. Am I sinning? No, you're not. Okay, you're fine. Dating, when we use wisdom, is fun. The problem, watch this. The problem is that we often date to make ourselves feel complete. A lot of times we start dating because we don't feel confident in who we are. We don't feel complete in who we are. We don't feel complete in our relationship with God. So what we do is we start finding somebody who, if they like us, it means we're worth something. If they like us, then it means that we're important. If they like us, and do you know what happens then? When you break up, you have to go find somebody else. Because as soon as nobody is with you or you're not with somebody, you've stopped being valuable. To yourself, not in real life. To yourself, you've stopped being valuable. And so we will date people over and over, and we'll find different people and jump in relationships here and there because we thought that our value was based off of this person liking us and their love and their like and their caring about us and wanting to be around us gave us value. We look to a person to do what only God can do. So here's the tip. You ready? Write this down. Don't date to feel better about yourself. Good job, Darren. Thank you. I'm glad you're taking this in. You're just writing it on your heart. I love it. Good job. If you do, you will constantly be looking to that person for approval. You will compromise your standards to make them happy. Hear that. If you are dating to make yourself feel better, you will compromise your standards to make them happy. And you will end up bouncing from one relationship to another and just hurt the whole time. Don't date to feel better. Date is fun, it's natural, and we're ready to start seeing what type of person we want to marry. All right, that makes sense? When should you date? Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. When should we date? This goes down to D, all right? Right now it's 2 to a half, okay? It's 2 to a half. Somebody keep track of this. I need a calculator, preferably scientific. When should you date? A, B, C, D. Here we go. A, when someone asks you out. B, when you're ready. C, when they're really, really hot. D, when your friends start dating. You choose B when you're ready. That is correct. Yes, 1.5 to 2. All right. Now, some people will ask, like, how old should I be when I start dating? The answer really is when you're ready. I've never met a 13, 14, 15, or under-year-old that was ready. I've literally never met one. Maybe back in the pioneer days when they got married at like 12, maybe then they were ready. Today, no. So the age, Pastor Leanne, I like to say as a general idea is 16. Now, that doesn't mean you're like, ooh, as soon as I'm 16, I'm ready to date. That's not what that means, okay? The reason we say 16 is because it's 2 years away from 18 in which you can actually legally get married. Okay, and 2 years isn't so horrible, like it's not that far away. Now, I know 40-year-olds that's not ready to get married, okay? Like they're not ready. 20-year-olds, 30, they're not ready. So when you are ready in yourself, when you are complete, when you're not looking to somebody else to be the answer to your fulfillment, you're starting to get on the course of being ready. When you are secure in God. Now, I'm not saying you have to be perfect. Listen, everybody has a moment where they're like, they want to hear somebody tell them how great they are. I'm not telling you that you don't want somebody to affirm you. I'm saying that is not how you are living your life. Does that make sense? When you walk into a room and you're like uncomfortable because you're like, oh, does anybody here care about me, like me, am I accepted? And you are uncomfortable with your own self. If you are not confident in you just as you won't be confident as you with someone else. Does that make sense? Because you're going to be constantly asking that person, hey, you won't actually say this, but you'll be like, tell me something that makes me feel confident. Treat me in a certain way that makes me feel good about myself. Help me to, you know what I mean? Like you are going to be constantly looking at somebody else to help you feel better about yourself. When you're not looking for someone to complete you, you know you're starting to get ready to where you're at a place you should date. When the leaders in your life, your pastors, your connect group leaders, your parents, when they are like, yeah, go for it. You'll know you're in a place where you're starting to get ready because they care about you. And in Proverbs 11:14, let's see that one. Proverbs 11:14. Without wise leadership, a nation falls. There is safety in having many advisors. There's safety in that. But you know what we do? We're like, I really want to get with that person. So I'm not going to tell anybody in case they tell me it's not a good idea, and I'm just going to go get with that person. And then they find out, and you're like, hey, this is my boyfriend. Hey, this is my girlfriend. And we're like, when did you get with this person? They're like, why, you wasn't looking? Oh, why didn't you? Okay, has anyone here ever done something without asking because you were afraid they'd say no? Okay. My goal was just to see if there's anybody perfect here, because then you could leave and then the rest of us could stay. But we do that, right? We want what we want, and so we will go and jump into a relationship or do something without asking advice, without asking for wisdom. And you know what happens sometimes when we get that wisdom? Somebody will tell us, I don't think it's time. I think you should wait a little bit and work on this. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. All right, I'm going to go get with that person. Because we want what we want. But the question is, do you want something better for yourself? Do you want to have a relationship that is going to be healthy and not have drama? And when you break up, yes, it's going to hurt because it's natural to hurt, but it did not break you. You did not go so far with that person that you're now regretting the relationship that you had. And you're ashamed and you're embarrassed and you're like, man, why did I do the stuff that I did? Well, if we had people in our lives that we were listening to and getting wisdom from, it would help us. So my suggestion to you is find those people. Find your connect group leader, your pastors, your parents, teachers, whoever, people that are older than you that love God, that will look at your life and go, yeah, you're ready. Or, you know what? Here's some stuff to work on before you jump into that. And then you work on it and you get ready. There's a verse in Psalms that says, God will not keep any good thing from those who love him. Think about that. God will not keep any good thing from those who love him. That means if he's keeping it from you, it's not good for you yet. But if it's going to be good for you, he's going to say yes. So you can trust God with dating. Here's a couple tips. Ready? Before dating, ask yourself, am I what I would want in a person I'm going to date? Okay, does that make sense? Is the person that I am something that I would want in the person that I'm going to date? So if I get jealous really easily, if I'm super insecure, if I'm super clingy, if I'm super, I have a hard time communicating and talking about my feelings. I have a hard time opening up. I have a hard time being told when I'm wrong, and I get mad and defensive. If that's me, do I want to date somebody like that? And if I don't want to date somebody like that, then I need to go and start working on myself so that when I do date somebody, I'm somebody that they want to date. And I'm looking for somebody that is going to be a good match. Does that make sense? Here's another one. And this is why we put the whole 16 thing and everything. But it said, don't awaken your love too early. Now, here's what I mean. When you're in like middle school and you're first starting to get crushes and all that kind of stuff, and as it's first starting, I won't lie, I first had crushes when I was 5 years old. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was not a player. I literally, every girl I liked, I thought I was gonna marry. I won't lie. Like, I was ready to get married at 5 years old. When I was in first grade, I bought a girl a ring. I was like, I'm marrying this girl. This is happening. I'm not even playing. And so, like, that's just who I was. Like, it was second grade. I was like, I'm marrying this girl. Like, there was no player. It was just, I was ready for a relationship. No, I wasn't. And, but I thought I was. But don't awaken love too early. There is a natural process that will happen when you start dating. You're naturally going to want to hold hands. Eventually, you're naturally going to want to kiss. Eventually, you're naturally going to want to hug. Eventually, you're naturally going to want to. And so if you start doing things too early, you leave no space and time to keep yourselves physically pure for when you get married. You will hit a point where you're like, well, snap, what now? because you did not protect your heart and you didn't protect your love. And so you got to a point where it was too much and now there's nowhere else to go. And then you get dissatisfied with your relationship. And it could have been good, but you rushed what God wanted to do. Dating is like, it's like making a cake. All right? It's like making a cake. And when you get it, you start putting all these ingredients in and you're whipping it up and you're whipping it up. And if somebody was like, hey, let's eat some cake. And you were like, all right, let's do it. And you pour the batter in and then you just start putting frosting on top of it. And you're like, that's not what I meant when I said, let's have some cake. And they're like, oh, you need to finish the process. You're going to put it in the oven. And you're going to turn the oven on. Well, you should turn it on first. That's just home ec 101. And you turn the oven on. You put it in there and you, what? Wait. You wait. You let it go through the process. And then it comes out the oven and you let it cool down and you wait. And then you put the frosting on top and that's getting married. So, Dating is a process, but if you start it too soon, you begin to ruin something good that God had in store for you. So don't awaken your love too early. Be wise in your timing. Bring people into your relationship with you that are going to help you navigate that. Here's the last tip for that one. When you can benefit the other person you're dating, no matter the outcome, then you're ready to start dating. If you're in a place where you date somebody and you end up breaking up and they are better because they were with you, then you went into it ready to start dating. If you go into it healthy and whole and pushing them towards God and helping them walk with God and helping them become a better person and mature and develop, and then you guys break up just because it happens, but they're better because of it, or you're better because of it, then that was a healthy relationship. Does that make sense? And that's okay. I'm going to say this again. If you break up, if you get with somebody and you felt like you were supposed to, you thought you were ready, and you break up, and you come to us, one of our leaders or whatever, we're not going to be like, well, guess you didn't hear from God. Guess you shouldn't have. You just didn't. Better go fast and pray some more. Like, that's not, like, sometimes it just doesn't work out. All right. When you start dating, make sure you're going to benefit the other person no matter the outcome. Here's the next one. So it's 2 to 1.5, right? All right. Good job. Good. What's it? That's a pick. Where should I put it? In your nose, and then you can pick. Okay. Little dad humor right there. All right. Who should you date? This is the ABCD. People, a person who shares your faith and is following Jesus, hot people, people that are good at TikTok dances, people with a lot of Twitch followers. A, someone who shares your faith and is following Jesus. Here's the one that Pastor Leanne and I hear and the leaders hear all the time. We're like, oh, do they love Jesus? Well, they're not a Christian, but they respect the fact that I love God, and they respect the fact that I follow God, and they are cool with me going to church. Like, they won't come, but they're cool that I do. They're cool with the fact that I go. Okay. So, let's just say you beat the odds, you get married, and you're like, let's go to church, honey. And they're like, nah, I'm cool with the fact that you're going to go, but I'm not going to go. And then you're like, hey, kids, it's time for church. And they're like, why do I got to go to church if they're not going to church? You know what I'm talking about? Why do I got to go to church if they're not going to go to church? And then all of a sudden you realize, uh-oh, I didn't partner my life with somebody that was going in the same direction that I am. I didn't join myself with somebody who's going in the same direction. It's pushing me towards God, and I'm pushing them towards God. And sometimes we have to call each other out on our stuff. My wife and I do. We got to call each other out on our stuff. Mainly she does with me, not me with her. But she'll be like, Josh, what are you doing? Why would you do? Why would you say that? Why would you? And I'm like, you're right. But she is calling me out so that I can go higher with God, so I can develop more with God. I tell you, I'm going to say this. No, I'm not going to say that. All right. I had to think about it. It was going to cause some problems. When you are getting into a relationship, remember how I said dating isn't the end all? It's not the end goal. If it's not the end goal, then don't treat it like it is and just say yes to whatever comes your way. Well, if I don't date them, like what if I don't date anybody? What if nobody else likes me? What if nobody else? I never liked when people who were like married or with somebody would say stuff to me when I was single, because I'm like, what are you talking about? You're married. You don't care. But it's still true. It's better to be single walking with Jesus than to be in a relationship where you're getting pulled in two directions. It just is. It's better to be single walking with Jesus than be in a relationship where you're like, I want to follow Jesus, but they're not quite there yet. I want to follow Jesus and be pure, and I want to do it right, but they don't want to, and I have to keep fighting them. I have to keep fighting to not compromise. I have to keep fighting to do the right thing, and eventually one of them's going to give. Either they're going to leave you or you're going to leave Jesus. One of those two things is going to happen. And a lot of times, we don't leave Jesus in a way that looks like we love Jesus. We leave Jesus in a way that all of a sudden, the passion we had for God is not there anymore. We come to church and before we listen to the message and we're in it and we're like, yeah, I'm getting so much out of this. Now we can't because we're focused on that other person because they're not helping us focus on Jesus. And you guys are like, well, where am I going to find somebody like that? I'm going to say this, number one, be somebody like that. Don't worry about where you're going to find them. Be them. And when you be them, bad grammar, when you be them, then God can bring them. That was a good word. Y'all didn't clap nothing. That was a good word. I'm just kidding. I'm going to say it again. When you be them, God can bring them. Okay, here's the last question. You ready? I'm going to say it again. No, I'm just kidding. All right, this goes all the way to E. Here we go. How should you date? How? A, while wearing a kilt. B, have drama-free fun. C, my voice just cracked. C, in community. D, honoring God. Or E, all of the above except A. What's that? E? That is correct. It is E, all of the above except for A. Girls, you are the winners. Congratulations. You beat them 3-1.5. So proud of you. Good job. Thank you, guys. You're incredible. Go ahead. Have a seat. Give them a hand. Go ahead and have a seat. Give them a hand. Let's finish this up so we can go into our connect groups. Yeah, go back to your seat. Yeah, go ahead and have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy yourselves. Here's a tip. Ready? If you're not in Scotland or Ireland, don't wear a kilt, but you better wear something. All right? Write that down. Highlight it, underline it, bold it, italicize it. If your relationship is full of drama, get out. Okay? Part of the issue when I was dating that girl and we ended up getting engaged, then we broke up, and it was the most drama-filled relationship, constant drama. And I just kept staying in it until I couldn't handle it anymore. And it was just constant drama. And I should have just gotten out, but I didn't because I was trying to complete something in me. If your relationship is full of drama, get out. If you are going to have a good relationship, you need to do it in community. It doesn't mean that everybody's dating everybody like in a small school. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where you bring your parents into it, your pastor into it, your connect group leader into it, your friends who are following Jesus. Note I said following Jesus into it, so that they can be like, hey, y'all shouldn't be sitting in the car like that. Hey, I didn't feel like they can call you out because there's safety in community. There's safety in friendships that are going to hold you to a higher level. There's safety in pastors that are going to check on you and parents that are going to be there and hold you accountable. And there's safety in that. Why? So that if you break up, which is likely because you won't marry everybody you date, there's no regrets. And you can step into the relationship God has for you that you're going to marry happy, healthy, whole, and excited. That when you see that person that you did date and you broke up with, you're not like us. I've never done that. What are you talking about? that you are in a place where if you tell your spouse that you dated that person, you don't have to be like, yeah, we dated for like a minute. So was it like a long relationship? No, it wasn't long. Okay, let's go. Let's get some pizza. Date in community. Here's another one. When you're dating, let your number one goal, be to honor God. I want God to be happy with my relationship because then he can bless my relationship. I want God to be happy with my relationship because then he'll give us wisdom in our relationship and we can walk it out. And it is a blessing. Other people look at our relationship and they're like, wow, that's amazing. That was something that was obvious. Actually, with Braden and Emily, was that you would hear multiple people be like, wow, they're like an incredible couple. That's incredible. Because they walked it out in community and they walked it out with a desire to honor God. What does it mean to honor God? It means that I want to make him happy before I make them happy. I want to make him happy before I make them happy. Because when we switch it around, all of a sudden we start to compromise. All of a sudden we start to do things that we shouldn't do. We start to say things. We start to slide into a place where they become a God to us instead of God holding that place. Our goal is for you to have fun dating relationships, free of drama, that please God. That's our goal for you. We want it to be fun, free of drama, and pleasing God. We want you to be wise. We want you to be in community. And we want you to be something where when you do it, you go, man, well, it didn't work out. That hurts, but I'm okay. Or eventually you go, I dated somebody. We got married. We had an amazing dating. And now we're going to have an amazing marriage. One of the problems is that we don't think long term. We just think dating somebody. But God wants us as Christians, as followers of Jesus, to have eternal mindsets, long-term mindsets. Where is this going? What am I going to do with this? Why am I doing this? And then God can bless what we are doing. Does that make sense? Does that help you guys?